They derive funding from a variety of criminal activities, which includes smuggling of narcotics, bank robbery, vehicle theft, fake currency, or from state-sponsored and activities in failed states. Disrupting fund flows constraints the capabilities of terrorists and reduce their ability to execute attacks. This involves putting in place both systematic safeguards and targeted economic sanctions based on credible counter-terrorism intelligence. Targeting proceeds of crime is an important element in the fight against crime. Hence, there is an imperative need to focus our efforts to enhance international cooperation in the field of asset recovery for fighting crime, corruption, and terrorism. Confiscation of property of offenders not only serves as punishment but also discourages commission of crime. In fact, Kautilya, in his Arthashastra, had suggested confiscation of illegitimate income as one of the punishment of corrupt public servants. I am also pleased to note that the heads of state anti-corruption bureaus and CBI will deliberate on the related theme of tracking proceeds of corruption. This 2-decade-old forum must not only focus on prosecution of offenders involved in corruption, but also modify the standard operating procedures to more effectively target the proceeds of corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, economic liberalism and globalization have drastically increased the ability to park profits of crime anywhere in the world. Today, proceeds of crime can be routed through dozens of countries within seconds. By a process of layering, the money trail can be concealed. Investigation agencies are limited by national boundaries. Our government is committed to the implementation of a uniform global standard on automatic exchange of information on a fully reciprocal basis. This will facilitate exchange of information regarding persons who have concealed their money in offshore financial centers and tax havens. Interpol is playing an increasingly active role in asset recovery. Since 2009, Global Focal Point Forum is actively promoting the exchange of corruption data among law enforcement agencies and anti-corruption entities worldwide. In this context, mention must be made of Interpol's initiatives such as ICOM, a secure web-based encrypted channel for the exchange of sensitive data among the specialized anti-corruption community. The new Interpol notice could add value to asset tracking investigation and facilitate in complex cases. And its partners, World Bank and VN ODC, in convincing the idea and giving leadership to this forum that has the potential to put an end to safe haven for the corrupt. I am told that excellent and proactive cooperation between Interpol and Indian investigative agencies has resulted in tracking of many fugitive criminals and their subsequent. I would like this cooperation to deepen. CBI has been effectively assisting the Indian law enforcement agencies and their foreign counterparts in recovering the barriers that complicate the exchange of investigative information. I am also informed that CBI has been making use of Interpol tools and database for securing greater cooperation among law enforcement organizations throughout the world. It has also been consistently partnering Interpol capacity building programs. We are in the process of establishing an international center for excellency in investigation at render world-class certificate course on investigation and prosecution in specialized and emerging domains of crime, including cybercrime, to the law enforcement community of India and abroad. A centralized technology vertical to focus on combating new age crimes like cybercrime is also being planned. There are several cases in the annals of Indian judicial history in which conviction was secured slowly on the basis of forensic expert opinion. India must therefore have adequate facilities to be able to clear the huge backlog of forensic opinion. The proceeds of crime and corruption are stolen assets. They do not belong to the country where they are stashed. They rightfully belong to the citizens of the country from which they have been plundered. I am well aware of the legal and procedural obstacles and differences in the evidentiary standards that hinder asset recovery. To overcome these challenges, police and law enforcement agencies should force formal and informal relationships. I hope this conference provides all of you such an opportunity. I also hope that the delegates will seriously deliberate on devise proper procedures and protocols to quicken the process of tracking, identifying, restarting, confiscating and repatriating the stolen assets.